I'm writing down my list for our weekend or whatever our thing.
There it is. Oh, okay.
His name is Lucky.
Dude, they.
Ah.
It's a good thing I didn't start recording because it didn't have my mic in for this, so it didn't
Ooh.
have it for OBS, and I was like, damn, bro. Oh, dude. But anyway,
Huh?
I was Hey, welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky. Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny. Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I am Lucky.
And I am Michael. And I'm Johnny.
And we all make up Anime Casuals, especially our absent Johnny. Unfortunately, Johnny was struck by lightning, despite the fact there's no lightning in California right now. Actually, funny enough, Michael, right when you guys left, a thunderstorm happened right as you guys left left Texas, and I was like, wow, what in the world, bro? They came by when it was the best when it was like the best weather, and then they left when it was then they left and the worst weather just came in. We were having like thunderstorms on and off.
I'm upset. I wanted it to be raining while I was there.
Yeah, well, dude, I was just thinking, I was like, man, dude, my car's a mess. I need like a rain day or something like that because I ain't taking that shit in. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the casual discussion where we talk about topics casually. And today I thought we would just give a wrap up of what we watched for the summer 2021 season, since fall is here technically, but the fall anime are just about to come around the corner. Most of them are coming out, I think, in October or something, late October. Late October, and then one of them is coming up in early October. We'll talk about that a little, or we talked about that a little bit more in our weekend talk discussion. Yeah, man, dude, this season was actually really good. But I think we should talk about one thing that I talked about without you guys. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S.
Yeah, you did.
So since everybody heard about what I thought about it, why don't you give your overall thoughts about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S?
So you can find my thoughts on my other podcast called Fuck You, Lucky, I Hate You. No.
Dude, part of the Casual Empire. It's all under the Casual Empire.
Yeah. Sorry, it was Casually Fucking Lucky, but
exactly.
that's on the OnlyFans.
Exactly.
Dude, the end of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid was incredible. It was probably one of the best episodes I have seen in a really long time, and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid always brings it. But from the previous couple episodes of it building up to this like climactic finale, this episode leaves so much for the next couple of seasons. Like, I'm expecting a ton from everything that they could be making in the future, and that's actually the problem with the season, is that it was too good. It was way too good for continuing on, but that's okay because I loved every moment of it. The biggest thing I liked was the little moment where Kobayashi tugged on Toru's kimono. That was the most adorable thing I've ever seen, because it was the first moment where we saw the emotional attachment that Kobayashi has to Toru in the first place. Plus, like, that whole end scene where with the wedding and all that was very adorable, where they're just running away and having a lot of fun together. But this kind of wraps up the emotional baggage that we've been building up since episode 1, where Kobayashi was like, I don't know what the heck you are. You're just some kind of dragon, just trying to have sex with me, dragon, get out of here. And then finally she goes, oh, Toru has a really good heart, coming off all the history that she's been through, or fight with the gods, her like fight with her dad about what is right, even though we learned that actually good dad. Whoa, surprise. after that big battle at the end of season 1, and everything that this episode has, whether while it has a lack of battles every 2 seconds, it really shows off what this anime is good at, is character development. And while it's amazing action, it's really high animation. What this anime excels amazingly at is developing characters and making sure that you are as invested in these characters as they are in each other. So I can't give this anime enough thumbs up and enough like telling people to go watch it. You just have to watch both seasons and just enjoy the fantastic writing that is this show.
Yeah, as well as checking out the Dragon Theater stuff that they were doing. Like after each episode they would release, they would have a little dragon short that they would do. And I'm gonna be real with you, seeing Toru in 3D animation threw me off a little bit because I was like, oh, they're going 3D too? What in the world? Because there's not how do I say this? There's not as much stuff you can do with 3D animation that you can do with real animation where they're going into these crazy fights and shit. So that was a little worrisome to me, but don't worry, it is just an intro, and it's a very cute intro, like all 3 or 4 of them that they have.
I mean, that's what's insane. The last 1 minute of the main episode, you could see where they start firing like energy blasts at each other. It still looked really good. It was crazy.
Exactly.
But they're all adorable. They're all really adorable. There's like 2 or 3 little minute shorts they have, and those are only for this season. That was specifically for Dragon Maid S.
Yeah, so we've probably watched a lot of different anime. Remind me, Michael, if it was you or I thought it was both you and Johnny that checked this one out. Have you guys seen Battle Game in 5 Seconds? I have only watched the first episode of it. I thought it was good, but I've seen a lot of anime with the same premise. So,
Johnny has dived a little bit deeper, but I didn't get past the first episode.
Yeah,
either.
Me too. The problem with it is there's so many anime with the same premise. There's Darwin's Game that just came out a little while ago. And that's about it. So there's not that many. Well, there are a lot of these tournaments to go into. If you want to think of, oh my god, not World Trigger. There's another one that was made from the guys that made Sword Art Online, so it's also pretty trashy. I can't remember. Oh, Excel World, very similar. Excel World. That's a pretty similar one. But what else were you keeping up with? Because I wanted to bring up there's an interesting one that I saw called Fena Pirate Princess. And I started watching. I started watching this one, and it was like, oh, made by Adult Swim and Crunchyroll. I was like, what the hell am I watching? Really good show. I was thoroughly impressed with the animation. The budget must have been out of this world because some of it is just very, very crisp and stuff. But man, that show is definitely it's definitely got a lot of the elements of an Adult Swim show. So it reminds me, it has some things like Samurai Champloo, where there are bodyguards to protect a girl, but and the girl's very like outspoken and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it also has a lot of the other elements in it, like the adventure. They even show you like the map that they're going across the ocean with. So it was really good.
Well, that's what's actually funny is both To Your Eternity and Pirate Princess. I was like reading a lot of reviews to kind of see what I missed over the past week, trying to get ready for this, to be like, okay, what's out there? What am I not watching? And I saw bad reviews on both those shows, and both of them had the exact same review going, wow, the first half of this anime knocked it out of the park. It was super good. And then it became one of the worst animes of their season because of how bad the second half was.
Oh, really?
And and I'm like, what do you think about that, Lucky? Like, because you've watched, I don't know if you finished Pirate Princess, but you've watched Toy Eternity, and you have a video about it. So I guess people go watch the video for your opinion about it.
And it's not it's a non-spoiler video. So if anything, it spoils like the first 3 episodes, but even then, it doesn't show you the fate of a lot of them. And I don't need a spoiler review, but I caught up. I caught up on Pirate Princess, so I think there's only 11 episodes out right now. Let me start off with To Your Eternity. So that one, I think the only reason why that one the only reason I can see that one getting more negative reviews towards the end is
Mhm.
because there was a really good character somewhere in like the middle part of it, and it's very, and this is just all about an immortal's journey to discovering what it means to be human. So he meets a lot of humans in his time, and after that particular human, there becomes a really annoying human that you can't really tell. Very ambiguous with what their schemes are. But I would argue that they ended off that arc very well. And I was actually crying at the last episode. I cried at the first episode and the last episode. So I would argue that you can probably argue that the second half was not as impactful as the first
Yeah.
half, but I wouldn't say that it dropped off dramatically. If anything, it just kind of hit, like it was like, oh, here's like a little, when you get up all the way to the mountain and then all of a sudden there's just a little trail, but then it goes back to flat again. So it didn't go all the way down or anything. And then with Fena Pirate Princess, I think that I think actually, if anything, it's starting to ramp up to something really good. I think people probably just have that, it's like the honeymoon phase, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is just so great, but they don't want to give it exactly a chance to explore. They don't want to give it a chance to blossom other stories. They just want to.
Yeah.
They just want it to always be this thing that you'll never explain. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't really think that either one of those dropped off towards the middle, but I can definitely see where some people might have thought so. But I can't imagine it being like a super big drop off, like from an A to a D or something like that.
Yeah.
If anything, it'd be like A to maybe A minus. I don't think it would go down a grade.
Yeah. It seems like there might only be 12 episodes of it coming out, but
Mhm.
we'll see about that. Well, that's good to know because like critics can be, they can be a little overcritical.
Mhm.
Um oh no, I just forgot an anime I was going to talk about.
Ooh.
Dang it. Well, that's okay.
Let's play
I'm
charades.
also
Give me the description. I'll just throw it at you, man.
goop 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 goop.
Oh, slime. There it is.
Yeah, actually, no, that's not the one I was thinking of. But, I'm going to touch on one of my most exciting anime that I just recently watched was Star Wars Visions.
Mm.
I plan to do a video about it in probably like very, very soon. But it was amazing to see studios tackle the Star Wars series. This is probably end of summer, beginning of fall. This is because it just came out like within like 7 days, and it's really interesting to see Japanese studios handle an American media or a piece of entertainment, and the way that they showed off basically Star Wars itself was either really good or kind of off the beaten path. Not that that's not good at all, but it was very like, oh, this is strange to see inside Star Wars. There was like 2 or 3 of the Force users who could like freeze laser bolts, which was like you saw the first Star Wars 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Kylo basically did that, and that was like a Kylo thing. And it's like everybody who uses the Force has their own like way of using it, kind of, until like it's discovered, and then everybody can do that. It's like, hey, you remember that one guy who can do lightning? Oh, now all the dark side users can use lightning. So it was great to see all these studios interpretation of Star Wars, because it ranged anywhere from like 7 to 20 minutes for a lot of these shorts, and it makes a really wild ride to see some of your favorite studios and the anime that they usually produce now being shifted over to a very old piece of entertainment that they're just able to go crazy on. That I just started watching a case study of Vanitas.
Oh, bro, so good.
Yeah, dude.
One of the best bromances I've ever seen in my life, bro.
Dude, you can see it starting already. They're getting so close to each other's face. It's great. That is a wild ride. I've only watched a couple episodes, but watching vampires fight and having this kind of very interesting premise of one vampire being basically the anti-vampire for everybody else with his magic book is supremely interesting. And of course, I also watched Shaman King, which I also have a video about that you can go check out. It was mostly good.
Yeah, I think the case study of Anitas. I remember I was watching it. So I try. Have you been watching it dubbed or subbed?
Dubbed.
Okay, I like the so I watched it in subbed, and then I tried to go back to the dubbed,
No,
and
I can't. I can't do
yeah,
it.
and the problem is, and maybe people understand this, right? In Final Fantasy X, there was a scene where this very cringe scene where the two main protagonists go like they try and do a laugh and they go like ha
Mm.
ha 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 ha, very cringeworthy, right? And but a lot of people don't know that that's exactly how they do it in the Japanese version, so they didn't actually do
Yeah.
anything differently, right? I feel like that's the same thing here, except it doesn't like Noe's voice in the English dub sounds pretty close to what the Japanese dub sounds like, but it didn't do it for me. I immediately was like, oh okay, I can't
I'll go
unhear
watch
this.
this in the other. Yeah.
Yeah, so but anyway, yeah, that case study of Vanitas was very very good, and the animation is very crisp.
Yeah.
Some of those fight scenes and stuff. Also, who the fuck doesn't like vampires? I don't care if you're not gay or anything like that. You know, you're gonna like vampires, bro. It's
They're
fucking
not
awesome.
sparkling. I don't like it when they sparkle.
Where's Jacob? Where's the werewolves? Oh, you
Yeah. This
know.
isn't Twilight.
Another one that I ended up finishing yeah, it looked like this was the last episode of the season because I didn't just dude, you know that feeling you have when you all of a sudden you see the credits start to roll over the people, during the scene, and you're like, "Fuck!"
That's the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
How a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom was very good, and I am really psyched to watch the next season because I like how each character is coming into their own in it. He's assigned a few people that they're in very weird roles, but
Yeah.
it works very well when you actually see what they do for the kingdom and what that kingdom needs right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're starting to get a little bit more out of the kingdom, and in the next season, we're probably going to see like the empire, what's happening within the empire instead of just the kingdom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good one.
Did you start watching I'm Standing on a Million Lives season 2?
I've watched. I'm not caught up on the most recent episode, but man, dude, that show is brutal. It's unexpectedly brutal.
Yeah, and I was wondering about it only because it came out and I was like, it's one of those anime that I don't hear a lot about it,
Right?
but
It's
like a lot of
crazy.
people are like, yeah, this is good anime. It's like, are you gonna talk about it? Nope. If you're watching it, you're watching it. That and
Ooh.
oh, I think the one we've both missed, unless you started watching it, was Tokyo Revengers. I've heard some people talk about
I've watched halfway through it, and then I got stuck on episode 15 because they went on a break. And you know what
Mhm.
happens with me when things go on break. I'm like, oh, I'll get it next week, and then I just completely forget about it.
I guess it's over. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very good. Funny enough, I did see when I was doing our daily podcast, I saw somebody
Mhm.
mentioning how like it wasn't bad, but they're thankful that they ended up watching Steins Gate, like much more time travel esque of
Mhm.
anime, and I could see what they're saying because there's like herky jerky like plot points in there where you're like,
Herky
what?
jerky.
Yeah, and so like it's very interesting, but I will say this: it does do a very good job of pulling on your heartstrings, despite the fact that there's time travel involved in it. I think that's
Yeah.
something that sometimes anime struggle to do because once there's time travel involved, it's very hard for you to say like, oh well, you can just go back whenever you want. So why don't you
Yeah.
just go back and fix it? You know what I mean? That's always a very tricky thing. And then in terms of Standing Out on a Million Lives, that was a very like I just like the main character because he's very how do I say this? He's very antisocial and therefore he doesn't like people. And you find that out very quickly from him. And I like that attitude in him because he's not like the other people are all just super like, we're on an adventure, yeah, And he's just like, we gotta do what the fuck we gotta do. You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting isekai where it's like they go to another world, but then they also come back. So
Interesting.
they go do a quest, and then once the quest is done, they go back to their world until they get called there again. So very
Yeah.
interesting one.
I'm missing watching Laid Back Camp season 2. I just haven't started it, but
Oh, that's
I will
right.
start soon.
Nice.
Such an easy one. And I think I don't know if both of us have missed it. But 86. This is one that I think the season 2 is like in the future.
It's
Sometime.
right around the corner, dude. It's
Yeah.
coming in fall, dude. I was like, what?
Oh.
How did they come out? How are
I'm
they
bringing
doing
it up. I'm bringing it up late.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I was looking at it was saying like the top I ended up looking this up on like Reddit or something like that. It was like top anime coming out in fall, or it might have been winter, but either way, it's very close. And I was
Yeah.
like, didn't they just end the season? Like these guys are maniacs, bro. They're just going
Yeah.
straight in, dude.
And then Sunny Boy. I don't know if you've watched that one yet.
Watched 3
Uh,
episodes.
but it looks wildly interesting. Basically, a bunch of high school kids get sucked, like them and part of their building, like part of their school or their entire school, gets sucked into another realm, and their school is just kind of floating in the abyss, and they're kind of stuck in this school, and then they just have to learn how to survive there. So I don't know what else is a part of the anime, but it looks wildly interesting. It's like an isekai without an isekai there. It's like, hey, how do we have a reason to basically like set these kids up to govern themselves? And it's like, oh, you know what we can do? Suck them into another world in the middle of space.
Yeah, the other thing about that anime, because like I said, I've seen 3 episodes, and it's very, it's one of those animes that if you're not paying attention for maybe a couple minutes, you can miss a whole segment that won't make
Yeah.
sense to you later. And also, the other thing that comes with that going to the other realms is certain people do get powers from it. So it is very, it's cool to see how a group of like teenagers figure out how to deal with other teenagers who have powers and who doesn't want to follow the rules and stuff. So very interesting. By the way, that's all in the first episode. It doesn't happen anywhere past that. So very interesting thing. And then you also get to see flashbacks to them, like, because each one of them have a relationship before that. So you get to see the relationship blossom from before schools with like or before when they were at school in their reality. Through flashbacks and stuff, so it's cool to see because sometimes they won't even tell you, and you'll just see the tension between two characters, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna see some flashbacks at some point, see what the fuck is going on here."
Yeah. I mean, it looks really fun. So I'm glad you watched a couple episodes and give us a little bit more on it.
Yeah, it's also on my my Funimation anime for whatever the video is called. I forget what the video is called. But anyway, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. But I did a video all about Funimation anime from this year. So yeah, what anime have you finished this season, Mikael?
This season?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or gotten close to.
here's my list. I finished Slime,
Nice.
Dragon Maid, Shaman King, My Hero Academia, and One Piece are all things I'm caught up. But I finished something out of season. I finished
Ooh.
Mushoku Tensei.
Oh, that's coming out next in fall too, right?
Yeah.
Second season?
Well, we have already talked about that, Lucky.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. There's a couple other ones that I just don't remember right now because it was a blur of anime. Plus, going to visit you blew a lot of things out of my head for now.
So let's talk about Slime then, real quick. What did you? So this is probably like a 5 to 6 episode from the season 2 part 2.
Yeah.
There's a 5 or 6 episode. They call it a lull. I thought it was pretty intriguing, but there isn't really any action going on. They're literally talking for about 5 or 6 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was about 5 or 6 episodes,
Yeah.
and they're just converging on what they're going to be doing. There are there are no characters being introduced. What did you think about that slowdown? And did the end of it pay off for you if you didn't like that 5 to 6 episode stint?
I thought it was fine. I mean, it's Slime coming off of like the first half of the season, which was fire and full of a lot of trouble for our slime friend, and they need to slow down just like season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1 had the same thing. I mean, it wasn't that, I don't think it was a 5 or 6 episode, but they definitely had a couple episodes that slowed down.
Yeah.
They talked, they worked on the economy of the town. It's like theoretically boring things, but they still talked about it. And I thought it was fine because it explores the world a little bit more. The only thing I thought was kind of dumb is like when we go back through talking about things, when what's his name? The dragon?
Yeah, Veldora.
Yeah, when Veldora, like that, I think there was one episode where he kind of was like, and this is how we got to be here.
Yeah.
I was like, We don't need it. We never need that. Never need it. They did it last season in the middle. It was Veldora's Diary. This was Veldora's Diary 2. And it was like, you guys, like, I realize there's maybe like a couple months between parts of seasons and things like that, but we don't need to catch up. Like, if people want to catch up, they'll go back and watch it again. Like, we don't need an episode describing of how we got here when we're already on that journey.
Yeah, that's funny. That's like a weird thing that makes sense if you're watching this stuff on TV, right? Because you don't have a streaming service to go back. But now that we have streaming services to go back, I mean, because I don't know how anybody else is watching Slime right now. Are they watching it on TV? Unless they live in Japan, I don't think so. You know, it's like, and you know, even then, I don't even know where these things air at. You know, so. But yeah, I agree with you. It's very tough. But yeah, I didn't think it was all that bad. I think they at least they actually introduced a lot of concepts, and now I kind of know what's going to happen in the second season, right? Sorry, the third season, excuse me. And so I think they did a pretty good job of laying down the groundwork. It was kind of just like all of a sudden at the last maybe 7 episodes or 5 episodes, where all of a sudden they started putting that plan into action.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked they did the same thing in this that they've done with other like isekai like anime.
Yeah.
Ones that are more like Shield Hero, and like Slime is a little bit more. I mean, they came out around the same time anyways. Slime, Shield Hero, all these more RPG like anime that's actually trying to tell you a story, not just trying to be like having fun, and it doesn't matter like that they've isekai'd themselves. Mushoku Tensei is the same way, where they're like, okay, how are we going to make our main character a little bit more powerful? How are they going to deal with the big things in this world? Well, we got to level them up somehow. And so Mushoku Tensei, our main boys, like learning higher and higher levels of magic, learning how to sword fight. Okay, we got that. And Rise of Shield Hero, he's picking up more ingredients as time goes on, and then he suddenly gets like super powerful, like monsters dropped in a shield. And in Slime, it was like, okay, I guess we could just keep leveling up the titles, just like in Spider. They were like, how do we assign these? How do we make these people super powerful? Well, you've got to have them either attain a title or magic power that's great enough to deal with enemies, or they've got to know they got to be very technically skillful. So it was fun to see like how I almost said Tanjiro again. I don't know why I keep saying Tanjiro.
Because you want that season 2, baby. You want that season 2. Let's go.
I want that season 6 in a movie. That's what I want. 6 seasons in a movie. And it's really interesting to see basically how they were like, how are we going to make this slime who can consume everything more powerful? Oh, I got it. And I'm not going to spoil that for any of you who are still watching season 2, but it was really fun idea how they were like, this is how we're going to make slime more powerful, just like this. And it was a little insane.
Yeah, it was definitely something I wasn't expecting to happen, especially in the second season, but definitely something that was pretty good. And then also speaking of isekais, I finished Serei Gensoki or Spirit Chronicles. Pretty good anime, although I did hear that they kind of did the typical anime thing. They condensed a lot of what the manga did into like 13 episodes, 12 episodes, 13 episodes, something like that. And I don't know if a season 2 is coming because they left off on a big cliffhanger, but I'd heard some rumors on Reddit that this was mostly like a cash grab to get the manga to pay a little bit more. Not sure if it's going to stay that way, but I actually do really like the anime. I really do think it has a lot of potential. Yeah. And then I also finished Sukamichi Moonlit Fantasy. Also, another very good isekai. Both of them are very different. I did a podcast about it the other day, but very, very different in feel. Sukamichi is a lot more lighthearted, and the main character is like very, very OP, whereas Serei Gensoki, the character is OP, but he's very reserved. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a different feel. But both of them, I think, ended off pretty well. Like I said, Spirit Chronicles left off on a huge cliffhanger. I was actually really surprised because I was like, whoa, you can't end it here. You can't end that here. You can't do that. And then Sukamichi left off on a good point, like right after a huge battle. So I was like, okay, very good.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you also just watched Dawn of the Deep Soul, which you made a video on, but that's something that's been
remind me. Just had to remind me about
is
that.
The next movie for Made in the Abyss. That's not a fall thing, but I'm really looking forward to just seeing more of these movies because just like Demon Slayer, it's fun to watch when anime suddenly decide hey, let's make a movie of those seasons like Evangelion is doing. Instead of releasing more of the TV series, we're just going to release more movies. I don't know how you feel about that, but at least for Made in Abyss, it really works.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like they got straight to the point of things, but they didn't rush them like sometimes the anime does, where it's like, which is weird because in anime you'd think they'd add more time to this, but for some reason it seems like anime always with some things that anime get wrong sometimes is the way that they skip over things that we definitely shouldn't be skipping over. It's almost like they give time
Yeah.
for things that you don't give a shit about. With especially with like Dawn of the Deep Soul, each part got like equal amount of time. I had mentioned this in my review of it. The characters also had downtime to speak to each other, and you actually got to see their philosophies on life and their how they differed in some respects. So I thought I think that's a really good approach to a lot of these things. So, I mean, I think that when you condense things down to a movie, people think that, oh, a lot is going to get shelved or something like that. But look at Berserk, right? Berserk had a couple of movies, and now we're shitting over Berserk 2016, obviously because of the animation. But with Berserk, the movies, it did a really good job of condensing what we needed to see, and then really glorifying those parts in the manga that you would see, and you're like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
awesome to see on screen. So, yeah, I really like the movie setup for it.
Yeah. I mean, that's I think that's the end of my anime that I've watched for fall. So
Yeah, I think the only other one I can think of that I just finished was my next life is a villainess. That was a very good,
I'm almost done.
yeah, that very very good. And whoops, didn't want to see the behind the scenes there. There is there is I like how things are starting to amp up. Right, we're not just staying. Characters aren't just staying in the background. They're starting to voice up and be like, "Hey, you gonna get this dick or what?" It's just straight up. That's about all I'll
Kiss
say with that.
me!
But it was very cool because sometimes I feel like they leave it at that tension with harem anime where just all these characters are like, I want you to love me, but I also want you to be happy. It's like, no, fuck that, dude. Go be happy yourself. Go ask them out or something like that. I don't care if nine other girls like. I don't care if nine other. Well, in this case, I don't care if like four other boys and like three other girls like her. Go get that. I don't give a shit, dude. So I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we would love to hear from some of you out there what your favorite anime was it summer anime, not fall.
Yeah, I keep getting that wrong
wh-
too.
Yeah, what your favorite summer anime was? Because one, I'm just generally curious. I want more anime to watch. So if something really stood out to you, please let me know because every article I keep seeing about like the summer anime is so varied. It's like, yeah, I like this little niche thing over here, or I liked My Hero Academia season 5. It's like, okay,
Oh,
bland
dude.
answer person. Like, okay, I it was good, but I mean, like, tell me something more unique.
Dude, speaking of niche anime, there was one that I left out. Uramichi Onisan on Funimation. I started watching this show, and I was like, let's see how it is. It's basically if you watched Mr. Rogers or Blue's Clues growing up, it's very much that setting where it's like a person who is like a kid show host, except there's live kids and stuff. They're all around there. As opposed to dead kids, I suppose. I don't know why I said live kids, but there are kids
Yeah.
live in the studio.
Yep.
Um,
I hope they're alive. Yep,
and
okay.
best part is, people have to watch in Japanese. The reason why Uramichi Onisan is voiced by Levi or Law, and when he gets the funny part about this anime is when he's on set, sometimes he'll end up leaking things about adult life that he shouldn't be saying to kids. Like one of the first episode that happens, he ends up like trying to call out the bunny rabbit and the bear Kumao and Usagio or something like that, and he ends up like, let's call him out, Kuma, and they're like, did your voice just get hoarser? He's like, yeah, kids. So that's basically what happens when you spend a whole night drinking and wake up way too early. And
Right.
so he ends up leaking a lot of things from real life. There are two other co-hosts. One of them is a girl who with a stand-up boyfriend who never is. She's probably never getting married, and she's really mad about it. And the other guy is a guy that's a fucking airhead who. I think that's about all I can say. But has one of the cutest dogs I've ever seen in anime, like a very cool looking dog. But I really like that idea. Very original idea, and if you ever need a palate cleanser or something like that, it's on Funimation. There is an English dub. I have not seen it, but I'm sure it'll be pretty good. But anyway, guys, I think that's about all the anime that we've mostly
Yep.
seen. So
Yeah.
anyway, guys, remember to check out All Things Casual at the link tree in the description box down below. Also, if you'd like to email us, you can email us at animecasuals with an S, real, REAL, @gmail.com if you guys want to send us your anime of the season, or even comment down below if you're checking this out on YouTube. But as always, guys, don't forget to keep
It casual.